The 871 Battle of Reading, a critical nexus in the Viking confrontation with Anglo-Saxon England. The Viking incursions of the late 9th century represent a watershed in the historiography of the British Isles, as they catalyzed profound political, cultural, and military transformations. Central to this era of upheaval is the Battle of Reading, 871, a significant conflict that pitted the West Saxons, under the joint leadership of King Ethelred and Alfred, later known as Alfred the Great, against the Viking Great Heathen Army. Let us examine the broader context of the Viking expansion, the tactical and strategic dynamics of the engagement at Reading, and evaluate its reverberations on the trajectory of Anglo-Saxon resilience and eventual consolidation. The Viking invasions, a contextual framework. The Viking Age, commencing in the late 8th century, marked a period of Scandinavian maritime expansion characterized initially by episodic raids and later by sustained campaigns of conquest and colonization. The Great Heathen Army, a confederation of Norse warriors, landed in East Anglia in 865 with the explicit aim of dismantling the fragmented polities of Anglo-Saxon England. By the end of 870, the Vikings had secured substantial territorial gains, including Mercia, and turned their focus on Wessex, the last redoubt of organized resistance. The West Saxons, led by Ethelred and his younger sibling Alfred, faced a uniquely sophisticated adversary. The Viking forces combined tactical adaptability with strategic depth, leveraging their mobility and expertise in siegecraft. Against this backdrop, the Battle of Reading emerged as a critical engagement, reflecting both the immediacy of the Viking threat and the resolve of Wessex to preserve its sovereignty. Strategic preliminaries and the capture of Reading. The Vikings' occupation of Reading in late 870 underscored their strategic acumen. Situated at the confluence of the rivers Thames and Kennet, Reading afforded the invaders a defensible stronghold and a logistical hub for further incursions into Wessex. The site's dual advantage of natural defensibility and access to waterways enhanced the Vikings' operational flexibility, enabling them to consolidate their territorial gains and launch subsequent campaigns with impunity. Recognizing the existential implications of Viking entrenchment, Ethelred and Alfred mobilized their forces to mount an offensive aimed at dislodging the enemy and reclaiming the town. Anatomy of the Battle of Reading. The confrontation at Reading on January 4, 871, was marked by a complex interplay of tactical maneuvers and operational contingencies. The West Saxon forces, despite their numerical strength, faced formidable Viking fortifications. Their initial assault, characterized by direct frontal engagements, was thwarted by the Vikings' superior defensive positioning and disciplined counteroffensive led by commanders such as Halfdan Ragnarsson. The terrain around Reading, interspersed with waterways and marshland, further impeded the West Saxon advance, providing the Vikings with natural advantages that compounded their strategic ingenuity. The outcome was a decisive defeat for the West Saxons. Casualty figures were significant, and the morale of the Wessex army suffered a severe blow. The Viking response, combining aggression with calculated exploitation of the battlefield terrain, exemplified their operational sophistication. The loss at Reading forced a retreat, leaving Wessex vulnerable to further incursions. This defeat underscored the necessity of tactical evolution within the West Saxon ranks, highlighting both the limitations of frontal assaults against fortified positions and the imperative for strategic innovation. Consequences and Alfred's leadership evolution. Although the Battle of Reading constituted a tactical debacle for Wessex, its long-term implications were paradoxically constructive. In the immediate aftermath, the kingdom endured a succession of engagements, including the pivotal Battle of Ashdown, where Alfred demonstrated nascent military acumen. These engagements collectively provided a crucible in which Alfred's strategic thinking and leadership were tempered. The cumulative experience of these battles honed Alfred's strategic sensibilities, fostering an emphasis on defensive infrastructure, guerrilla tactics, and naval innovation, hallmarks of his later campaigns. The psychological and strategic lessons derived from reading also catalyzed broader reforms within Wessex. Recognizing the inadequacies of their current military apparatus, the West Saxons implemented significant restructuring of the militia system and fortified urban centers, burhs. These adaptations not only mitigated the immediate threat but also laid the groundwork for Wessex's ascendancy as a unifying force in England. The integration of burhs into a network defense system, coupled with a focus on rapid mobilization and logistical support, represented a paradigm shift in the kingdom's approach to warfare and governance. Broader implications for Anglo-Saxon England. The Viking onslaught, epitomized by engagements such as reading, served as a crucible for the transformation of Anglo-Saxon governance and military praxis. The exigencies of defending against a relentless adversary necessitated innovations in administrative centralization, resource mobilization, and collective identity formation. Alfred's leadership during this era epitomized these dynamics, earning him the appellation the Great and establishing Wessex as the nucleus of a unified England. Moreover, the Viking invasions precipitated a recalibration of cultural and political paradigms within Anglo-Saxon society. The relentless incursions underscored the need for cohesive state structures capable of withstanding external pressures, thereby accelerating the transition from fragmented heptarchies to a consolidated monarchy. This period also witnessed an ideological transformation, with the concept of kingship increasingly intertwined with the defense of Christian civilization against pagan adversaries, a narrative that bolstered the legitimacy of Alfred's subsequent reforms and unification efforts. Strategic retrospectives and legacy. In hindsight, the Battle of Reading reveals itself as a microcosm of the larger Viking Anglo-Saxon conflict. While ostensibly a tactical defeat, the engagement highlighted the vulnerabilities and strengths of both sides, offering valuable insights into the dynamics of early medieval warfare. For the Vikings, reading underscored the efficacy of fortified encampments and the strategic exploitation of terrain. For Wessex, the battle's aftermath served as an impetus for profound military, political, and cultural innovation. Alfred's eventual success in repelling the Vikings and laying the foundation for a unified England can be traced to the lessons of reading and subsequent engagements. The integration of learned strategies, from fortifications to adaptive military doctrines, exemplified Alfred's capacity for synthesis and foresight. His vision transformed Wessex from a beleaguered kingdom into the linchpin of a nascent English nation-state. The 871 Battle of Reading occupies a pivotal place in the historical continuum of the Viking invasions of England. While a tactical defeat, the engagement illuminated the existential stakes for Wessex and provided critical lessons that informed subsequent strategies of resistance and recovery. The legacy of reading is inextricably linked to Alfred's evolution as a statesman and military innovator, whose vision ultimately steered Wessex toward unity and resilience. As a microcosm of the larger Viking Anglo-Saxon conflict, reading exemplifies the complexities of leadership, adaptation, and endurance in the face of systemic upheaval. Its enduring significance lies in its role as both a harbinger of challenges to come and a catalyst for transformative change within Anglo-Saxon England. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe to Medieval Chronicles 1066 for more journeys back to the Middle Ages. Stay curious.